Okay, let's see here. Let's get the screen on the right way. Let Rebbl actually show up on the stream. There we go. And we'll load up our first game. Like the stream title says, we got 4 games going on to look at. And we will just start with this one right here. I do not know who submitted what, so I will try to be giving advice for both sides, but I especially want to look at whichever side lost normally, but I don't really care too much about that. We're just looking for mistakes, and we're looking to point out things that were done well, because anyone can point out mistakes. It's a little easier to forget to point out the things that people did well. Hello, hello! Y'all got in here fast. I haven't even loaded the game yet. This game is... Orcs versus Humans. I figured it was asked for by the human player. We're going to go to all skills. I like to go to all skills whenever possible for college games. Orcs start on defense in a blizzard. Or no, humans start on defense in a blizzard. My apologies. We've got some... This isn't a terrible formation, but this is more of an anti-one turn setup. Just real quick. Orc offense looks fine. Humans probably want to be more in a rule of 5 or a wider setup is fine, but this is like slanted to the side, but doesn't really matter too much. Put linemen on the line, so that's fine. And players are spread out so you don't get based by strength super easily. So this is mostly fine. I have very little issues with this. It's more nitpicky. I would have liked to see the troll hit be done at the end of the turn, so rather see this blitzer take a hit, then the troll. Just because of the troll, you don't want to use the reroll, because he's got loner. So if you get, like, a 1 in 27, which is, like, skulls and both downs only on the 3 dice, it could be a little awkward. And that's just unfortunate. But overall, so far so good. Right here, the proper hit to go for the humans is to surf this blitzer. There is no other correct hit. You just come here, you hit this. This player goes right here, bring an assist, boom, he's off. And you commit a reroll to this. It's super valuable. Orcs are 89. Surfing is an automatic injury roll. You ignore armor, so 100%, that should be what we're looking at. Okay, good. Gets a pow, that's fine. You take that. Pushing him away, great. I love it. Unfortunate, but happens. You gotta be careful this doesn't get surfed. So you want to protect this square so there's no easy surf. Dodge is fine. This should be okay. But if you're the orcs, you're trying to surf this blitzer. Which, how are you doing that? Well, first, you gotta get this out of the way. So you take a hit here, and then you put someone there. That's all there is to it. Or, you take this hit, and get the blitz sideways. But this should be a blitzer surf. It's not a blitzer surf. Which I would have rather seen. Is on the sideline. Okay, and once again, humans want to go for the surf now. Just trade surf attempts back and forth until somebody wins. Humans can put pressure on the ball if they had tried to earlier. Especially with the ball so far back and orcs are slow. You should be pressuring the movement 5 thrower. And the only other player back here is a goblin. Humans should have run some players back just to go and pressure. So let's rewind just a second to take a look at what we could have been at. So, Human's turn. Ball on ground. There's a blizzard. Blizzard benefits the faster team, because whichever team is faster doesn't have to take GFIs. The team that is slower might be forced to if you play properly. So what I would be looking at is we can bring catch 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Compressor. Compressor. Up this way. Just run your team behind the orcs. Like, they will get stuck. And what this does, so let's get just some marks for where our team probably is. Maybe something like this. Who knows? But if we do this, how are the orcs going to prevent all of these players from going and getting the ball? They only really have one option, and that is to bring players back. Which, if you stand these up and they're based, they can't bring these 3 back. So instead, we have 1, 2, maybe 2 more get free. So they're playing maybe 6v5 on the next turn, and you're faster than them. So you just have a lot of pressure on the ball this way. So whenever you're the faster team and the ball is deep, consider going and pressure. But there's a little bit of nuance. If you have a mentor, maybe look over some specifics with them. But in general, pressure the ball forces mistakes on the offense's part. So let's fast forward just a little bit again. And I do apologize, but at some point during this match, I'm going to have to go check my food in the oven for a minute. In about, I think, 15 minutes. And I'll be just a minute, and I'll be right back. We'll look at more Blood Bowl. And I'll take one more break to go look at my food, and then we'll be good. I like this. This is pressure on the ball. This is very good. A little late. I would have done it a turn earlier, but this is A-okay. I like this. Blitz I'm not huge on, but it's not bad. It's whatever. More pressure. More pressure. Good, good. I like the pressure. This dodge is good. I would bring right there. Yes. Wonderful. Okay, and as the orcs need to look to bring players back to protect the ball. So ball can come up to like right here-ish. You want to blitz this player, bring some black orcs to protect. Okay. Get some hits in, good. And I would stay so you don't get tied up. And that's unfortunate. Okay. Thrower is here. So this is pretty dangerous for the orcs right now. Okay, good. And you get that up to screen, okay. Then you bring this player over here. I do think just minor improvement. Right now there's a free player that can get a 1 die on the ball. This orc should have been like right here. And that protects against that. But that's just a minor adjustment. Fixes that. Okay, dodging to basing somebody else. Taking free move, good. Don't take hits yet, you want to get your moves off. Any free movement that you're not going to use for something else. Okay, now that's a 2 die on the ball, right there. And this is fine because this is not free movement. You might be picking up the ball with ease. The ball's on the ground. Well done. That's unfortunate. Not what you want. I will be right back. Oh, my bad. Yeah, I was muted. Shh. Sorry, I went to answer the door. I thought I muted myself when I got up. I muted myself when I got back. My bad. But as I was saying, this turn what should have happened is you should have handed off to the catcher. That's a 1 in 9 catch. No pass roll. And then you just run the ball in. Whenever you get the ball on defense, you should run it in and score if you have any amount of pressure. Because at worst, you're going to end up 1-1 going into your own offense. Which, theoretically, you should always win 2-1 that way. But that's like super simplified. 2-1 grind theory. And I think I have a link to the 2-1 grind below the stream, if anybody's not aware of it. Okay, random Kaz happens. Okay, orcs still need to retrieve the ball. This is still not a concrete situation for either team. Got this up here to deal with that. This troll is isolated, so humans are going to end up dodging off. I would not have rolled the really stupid. Okay, so now this turn, what can the humans do? Well, we could scatter the ball. We could probably chain push this orc pretty easily. Or at least not too horribly. And we gotta do it without surfing our own piece. It's actually kind of a hard turn. Because option 1, you go for the 4+ pickup with a reroll, dodge on a 1 in 9, and just run it in. That's an option. And 1 second, my food is done, so I'm actually muting, and I'll be right back. And where were we? See how this plays out, because I think I would just go for the pickup and try to score. 75% pickup, 90% dodge into a touchdown. It's pretty good odds. Chain push is fine. Oh, scatter is a little risky. Okay. I don't think that scatter was the right play. It was... If you push it out of bound, it could go anywhere. Like, if it's scattered down the pitch, the orcs get a touchdown. If it scatters up the pitch, you get a touchdown. Oh, no problem, no problem. VODs are made for a reason. They're great. But I see what you were trying to do, but that was just a very risky play rather than just going for the pickup. And then this was unfortunate, but you were going to dodge, pick up, try to run off. So a little misfortune, but I think slightly more reliable players could have gotten this one pretty easily. But this has not been bad on either side so far. I know I took a peek at this game in the Dice Turnout viewer, and I played it at Mach 5, so I got a general sense. The game being a Blizzard makes a lot more of the movement I saw make more sense. In my little preview I did for myself. Okay. Taking good hits. Neither of you are struggling with making 2 dice, that's good to see. Orc's doing a very good job, in fact. I still don't like this really stupid roll, and I really wish this lineman was already moved. So step 1 should be move this lineman off the troll. Since it's free, and you don't want to get hit, good, good. Love to see it. This is a good hit. Didn't result in anything, that's fine. Okay, that's fine. Probably should have just hit the goblin. Goblins are punchable. Not huge on the blitz. I would have rather blitzed up here to try and get the ball. And this dodge is just unfortunate. You're supposed to take that dodge with dodge. It's a 1 in 9. Your 1 in 9s have just been awful. So don't think that you're doing too many 1 in 9s because you're not. Then after this game, we're going to look at Bear on a Tricycle play. And I will hyper-focus on the Norse, but also point out some flaws and good things done by the other team as well, just because it's good habit. Ooh, that's an unfortunate cast. And that was a strength bust. That was the strength bust, wasn't it? Yeah, that's just unfortunate. There's nothing you could have done about that. Ogre was doing his job, just taking hits for the team. Okay, and humans still have a chance to score. Can't score this turn, but we can get a scoring threat. So, what is the play here? Surf is good. I like the surf. Double surf. This is good. This is good. Then you mark here. Good. Then you take that hit. No, that's very good. That's very good. This is potentially 2 Kaz. Didn't get anything good, didn't even get a KO, so that's a little unlucky. And the 1 in 9 fails again. Like, your dodges and the ball handling, not your fault. Very good surfs on your part here at the end. Okay, fails the pickup. So you successfully prevented the score, but that was a little lucky that you prevented the score. But it was also really unlucky on your dodges and stuff, so it's just a game of Blood Bowl. It's not really a dice this way or that way. I don't believe. You can still score here. Reroll that for yep. And you can still score. Oh, wait. Because you run this in. Pick up and pass it. Yeah. You see the line. Very well done overall for both teams. It's just a Agi 3 game in a Blizzard. What are you gonna do? No one scores. Orcs are in a good position with the Ogre output. So humans gotta look for a hole. And there's a couple ways to do this. You can either say, I'm going to bait the orcs backwards to come after the ball, or okay. Let me back up. Let me cover generally how I like to play with throwers. So how I like to play with throwers is normally, if you don't have a thrower, you pick up the ball and you run towards your team and you cage up, right? But caging is player expensive. It takes 5 players to protect the ball. With a thrower, you often have the luxury. Let's say the ball lands anywhere but from here back. Your thrower can go pick up the ball and stand back. And if you ever need to, you can run forwards on a later turn. So you run forwards, and you get a pass off. 3 squares, 1 and 9 into 1 and 9 to a catcher. And you've moved the ball forward when you've kept it back for so long. And keeping the ball back does a couple things. First of all, ball back here, ball is safe. Slow teams can't hit it. But second of all, it frees up all your players for fighting. So you can defend the ball pretty well, look for some removals, and then you can decide with your ball way back here, do I want to go for the win or am I happy with a 0-0 draw? And that depends on the game, it depends on division standings, depends on your goals for the game, for the league, whatever. But I would pick up the ball and drop back as long as I'm able to. So let's see how you did. I want to skip the setup just a little bit. This looks fine. Offense looks fine. Yeah, so you pick up the ball and you hang back. That's what you do. And if the orcs come back to contest the ball, you just run it forward into a cage. If they don't contest the ball, you just hang back with it within run-up pass range. Okay. Before dodging this one off, I would go pick up the ball. Or at least move closer to the ball. Because this is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. You don't have to mark the troll. I don't think marking the troll was the right decision, but I also don't think it matters very much. Marking the troll prevents it from marking 2 players, so that's fine. But I do think it's just an unnecessary hit that you're giving up. Okay, KO. Losing players, down 2 against the orcs. Not really your fault. Probably should have made this a 3-die as the orc player. So bring the black orcs in for assist. Didn't end up mattering, but it can. Humans are down 3, a little bit of a rough spot. Getting heavily marked. Yeah, right here, I would not move the ball all the way up. I would keep it back a couple more squares. Okay, this gives you your blitz. Not bad. I do think I would have rather made this a normal hit and then blitz the goblin. This goblin is just... It's got Mighty Blow against it. Stunty, you basically have Mighty Blow against it if you break armor. And this is a super aggressive play. This player is just going to get isolated and walloped. So I would not push this far past the opposition, especially when you're down players. Like, you don't have to be here yet. The best thing that this does is it draws aggro from at least 2 players. But I don't think that's the position you want to be in. Because they can also just ignore it and walk towards you. Okay. Yeah, so that's what we see. 2 players drop back to hit this. If the humans go for this touchdown, it's super risky. Should not be going for it right yet. Okay, I don't hate the blitz because that gives you 2 players that can move to get position rather than just 1. I don't think you should follow this. I don't think you need to base this. And I definitely don't think you should be handing off here. And this catcher definitely shouldn't be going anywhere. Ball is not safe. I'm not a fan of this. You're not in a rush. You don't have to run. You don't have to hurry. Like, worst case scenario, if you keep the ball back here, you don't score and you get a 0-0 draw. That's the worst case scenario. But what happens when you put an isolated strength 2 player holding the ball is that you lose the game. Because right here, this blitzer takes a 2-die block, and then this blitzer is free, takes a blitz, knocks down the player, gets the ball, and they pick it up and walk it in 6 turns. That's not hard. And also, this player isn't... Like, there's just so many ways to free up players to come and hit this. Like, this thrower can take a 2-die hit, and the goblin can come take a 1-die. It's not that tricky. Yep, so there's the 1-die, just needs a push. And even if this wasn't a knockdown, this is just a 3+ dodge with a reroll for the dodge. That's a 1 in 9, which I know your 1 in 9s haven't been working, but 1 in 9s are usually, they're better than a 2+. The troll comes back central. And something to really think about with big guys. They're usually pretty slow. You don't want to bring them too far from the center. If you bring them too far from the center, they get ran around. They get out of the play for multiple turns, especially against faster teams like humans and elves. So be careful when you bring them away from the center, because they tend to get stuck there if you do that. And main thing I'm noticing, humans basing a lot. Which, sometimes you're forced to. I don't think all of these bases were forced. Just every time you mark the opposition, you give up a hit. So be aware of that. Same for the orcs a little bit. But the orcs are mainly following up hits that knock down. Following up hits that knock down are great. Basically, almost always do that if you're trying to keep the pressure on. Okay, this ball is basically secured by the orcs. And you don't need to pick it up with the thrower here. Don't take the G5, pick it up with the blitzer. Either blitzer. Okay, this troll should come stand right here. Actually, you don't even have to do that yet. You can get a hit with the troll, can't you? No, you can't. Yep. Mark the player with the troll. Good. I would just pick it up with a blitzer. Any blitzer. Humans are basically out of players, though. Yep, should have just gone for the pickup as the orcs. It is easier to have something silly happen if you don't pick up the ball than otherwise. Okay, scatter is, I think that's fine. Pick up the catcher. Run to the end zone. Run to the end zone. Now you're forced to go dodge, pick up, pass. I think you have to reroll. This is your chance to win the game. Pick up. Yep. Pass. That was the right play. That was the right play at this point in the game. The better decision was not getting yourself in this situation to begin with. Just slow down on your own offense. You have 8 turns to score. You don't have to rush ahead turn 3. Just play it slow, create a gap, and then push up. Then push through. Just pushing through one player with the ball is not good enough the vast majority of the time. You want to gain just a couple squares as a team, and then push to score, or push to get behind the opposition and put your screen back up. You see this a lot with a lot of the really fast teams, that they're always rushing a score, when most of the time you want to score as slow as possible. There are exceptions, like if you're already ahead. Like if you're 1-0 going into your own offense, you can score quickly and be 2-0 up and say, hey, bashy slow team, it's your turn to score. You have to do it quickly in order to tie, let alone win. Or if you're 1-1, you can just go ahead and quick score. Try to force 1-1 for scoring fast. Going up 2-1's not usually the best idea. But especially when you're already up 1-0, score quick, get the ball in, play defense. Agi teams are much better at defense when they have players, and you have players by scoring fast. Okay, just playing for protection now, it looks like. At this point, I'm not sure how much more there is to learn. It's all luck. Like, this is a GFI dodge. Like, that, if that works, you won the game. Like, that was the right play. I think now, though, there are no more options. But a couple different dice, and the humans could have won. Orcs played pretty solid, though. Humans played mostly solid. I just think their general game plan on the second half was a unrefined. But a little bit more Blood Bowl theory, a little bit more thinking about how drive should go. A little more experience. Solid. This was not a bad game at all, but we're going to move on to the next one. I don't think there's much to learn at this point. Especially when humans are down like 8 players. But not bad, not bad. Good level. So we're going to go on to Bear on a Tricycles game. So we got the Microbrewery Club versus, I believe, humans? I believe it's humans. But let's take a quick peek. Alright, so we're going to hard focus on Bear on a Tricycle because they're actually my mentee. And we're going to take a quick peek and we're going to talk about how this game should go. How we want this game to go as the Norse. So, who's on defense? Norse are on defense, which that's fine. Looking around, I remember I told Bear, you desperately want to level up this Berserker, probably even over winning the game. So, want to get a touchdown on this Berserker. That is priority number 1. This is a... Is this... Yep, okay. So we're doing chevrons. Wonder if... Does this get set up correctly? No. Okay. So this is an attempt at chevrons, but it's done a little scuffed. Oh, they have a Saurus did. That's massive. So, chevrons, this diagonal and this diagonal, just need to be over 1. And what that does is we have a 2-space gap in between the players at the front, which is a wide screen, which just means there's tackle zones on every tile between the players, which ends up occupying 3 spaces each with control. So a single screen occupies these 5 spaces, whereas a wide screen blocks 1 more. And that what chevrons does is pretty simple. It just makes it so that if an agility team wants to run past you, they have to force through the line of scrimmage and they have to go down the center. So that would look something like this. They push this out, push this down. They take a blitz somewhere like right here, and they run down the center. Let's say they even get a cage, right? And now they've done all that, but we have the movement to surround them, get at the ball. And this doesn't stop them from scoring. It forces them to do it in 2 turns, usually. So if they want to score fast, they have to push. They have to score really fast. If they don't manage to break through, it gives you options on how you deal with it. But it basically either buys you a 6-turn counter score, or it forces the Agi team to give you options. Perfect defense. Getting off the ogre is great. Don't take the mighty blow hit. You don't have to mark the ogre. You don't have to mark the ogre. That's the main thing I would avoid, is marking this ogre. And if you're going to mark the ogre, if you're going to mark all these players, you should move this player here and this player here to get in a system that on the blitzers. So instead of having 1 dice, whichever way they hit, they have a 1 die in one direction and a red dice in the other. Minor thing, but it does make a big difference if you just move the players out 1 square. You're also just giving up 2 extra hits this way. But priority number 1, I would just step off the mighty blow with perfect defense. Especially as an AV7 team. And now we have a bunch of 2 dice. That's 1 removal. That 1 removal likely would have happened anyways. There was a 2 die right here that we didn't take for some reason. Should have taken that first. Only 1 removal in the line of scrimmage for the Norse, that's fine. Our humans look like they're farming SPP. That's fine. Ball's way back here. Can likely get a little pressure. And we're also looking for serfs. Okay. Good bit of ground conceded. So we can pressure up on the left side. Which that would just look like bringing a Berserker up, bringing a lineman up to protect the Berserker a little bit. Maybe the Ulf comes like right here. Okay. Hopefully that's the hit if we're setting up like this. This is fine. You'll want to dodge off this player at the end of the turn if you are still standing. Okay, and here's something that decent idea of what you're trying to do, because I'm assuming what you're trying to do is you're trying to prevent the humans from just walking through you, but there's a better way to accomplish the same thing. Instead of doing this, do an elf screen. Accomplishes this but better, because right now all it takes to get through the screen is blitzing 1 player. So if you hit 1 player, let's say you hit here, they're gone. So let's ignore them. They get removed, anything like that. And what we can do is we can just run through the newfound gap. And that gets behind you, which negates the goal of what you just tried to do. Hey, Hayate, how you doing? We're just about to go over elf screens. So this is decent. They can't literally walk through it, but they take 1 blitz and they're through, if that is their goal. Instead, what you can do is you can set up a elf screen. So we do another one of those wide screens that we talked about. And this takes almost the same amount of players, but you can't just take 1 blitz and be through. You'll still have to take dodges. So let's say we get rid of this player, they're gone. Boom, erased. And we still have tackle zones. Like, you still have to dodge through this, and they're not very easy dodges for Agility 3. Yep. Elf cheat codes. Indeed. Okay, and that's a decent hit. Blitzer is now exposed. So we gotta be careful with that. I'd rather just this lineman walk off than take a hit on red dice. Tying up the ogre really doesn't matter. You're just giving them a free hit. And that reroll was completely wrong. First action ogre reroll on a loner, that is not what you want to do. It quote unquote worked and got a removal, but it's just not worth it. If you're considering rerolling an ogre action, it better be an important action. And that just wasn't. And also, you could have just made it a 3-die and not had to reroll it. Just bring in one more assist. Blitzer was exposed, does get hit. Is this ball free? Yeah, basically stunties use their loner big guys as their first activations. If you're not stunty, you should really look for a different activation you can take. There are exceptions if you know what you're doing or your big guy has block, but even then, big guys with blocks still 1 in 36 at times. I don't think that reroll was worth it. I think you should have just eaten that skull. Granted, you did have 3 rerolls, so it's not the end of the world to take that reroll, but you should have taken some other hit first, because it looks like you're doing a blitz right here on 2 dice. Should have taken the easier action first. This is aggressive basing. Doing good with the frenzy hits, though. Yeah, stunties do it because they don't have a choice. Yep, that's good. Now I would honestly have stepped here to protect the blitzer a little bit more. Because a key thing on Norse is you want to take hits with your blitzer and then protect them. That's something that's really important. Take a hit with your killer, bring them back into a screen. Take a hit with your killer, bring them back into a screen. Very important. Because right now, got a hit on the killer. Gets a pow. Goes bonk. We are watching Norse versus Humans. College game, my mentee is the Norse. And this elf is a little far forwards. I would probably bring him back down to help, because he's about to get outran. The ball's already past him. You don't want to go back and behind. That'll take you a lot of movement, and then you'll just be outran for most of the game. And especially marking alignment. I don't think this is the right play. A little out of position. Okay, leaving this here to prevent the lineman from getting up is good. Double GFI blitz, a little spooky. Did work out, but both of these players are able to be outran if the humans manage to get this elf down and run to this side of the field. And again, you're giving up free hits, which I don't actually agree with. And you just got saved so hard by Dub Skulls. Let me point out what was going to happen this turn if that didn't occur. What should have occurred is this blitzer takes this hit, you're over here. And then something hits this. It could be just a regular 2 dice. It could be a 1 die. It just needs a push even. Actually, not even that, right? Because, yeah, like, Hayati's right. This ogre just steps to the side, marks these players. And then we just come up and around, and the ball is free. And then you take a blitz with, say, this blitzer, boom, bang, free up another person to come around. So this player would come, something like this, screen off. And this ball is safe, and the humans have basically a guaranteed score. And so I want you to realize that you got really lucky here. You need to be very careful putting players behind, because they get outran so easily when you're similar or lower speed than your opponent. Looks like we're taking a frenzy hit. I do like taking the frenzy hit there. Yeah. Hayati's right. Two positionals marking alignment behind is better for the humans than it is for you. The only reason it worked was because the 1 in 36, 1 in 36 that occurred. Chain push is fine. But yeah, humans were about to be this situation where you're behind the humans. They were about to be that over here if their blocks had succeeded. Yeah, it's very unlucky. I don't think that's the right hit. I would really like the humans to stop stop using the ogre turn at the beginning of the turn. I think what should have happened was we try to hit this ball. Like, I would have taken this 1 die, right? Take this 1 die. If this is a stun, whatever, doesn't matter. You just go for this hit with the lineman. Get 1 die on the ball. Jump up can still say unbase the ball. The 1 die was fine, but should have stood up this player most likely, I think. Yeah, these humans are not rolling very well. It's really college level dice, you know. I know my play started improving when I started just rolling 6s. But no. Jokes aside. Humans have had really rough dice these first few turns. Okay. Okay, and this Ulf should be served. This Berserker should be served. Oh, you forgot about jump up? That's fair. That's fair. Okay, humans probably can't get the score. I would likely just go for the positional serves. Blitz this one, then push this one out with the lineman. You can even make them 2 dice, and then you can pressure the score as well. So what that would look like for the humans, if they were playing proper, bring pieces up to force the score. Ogre can move, or Ogre can stay there. Ogre doesn't matter. And then we do something like this. Bring you over to mark. Hit you here on a 1 die with block. Follow. Meh. Don't follow. Just step right here. 2 die hit. Get the Ulf out. And you could even bring in an assist over here if you wanted. But that just gives less pressure on the ball. But I'm pretty sure that doesn't happen, if I remember it correctly. For my little preview. Okay. Yeah, he can do it better, can't he? Chain push the Ulf out. Yeah. But yeah, that should have been a double surf. Delaying or not delaying here is really personal preference. I do think that... Okay, hand out to the Berserker. I like that. I like that. Now you need to free up this Berserker. Cancel these assists, or you get double assist here. Yep, this is good. This is good. Good recovery, but this should have already been served. In my opinion. Could have surfed this again, actually. So instead of taking this blitz, hit with the lineman, get the Berserker here, and then blitz it out. Didn't matter, Berserker's dead. Did not matter, Berserker's dead. But you could have gotten a surf, which surfs are great. Automatic injury rolls, players out guaranteed for the drive. Just ignoring armor is a great thing about surfs. 10 out of 10 would serve 5 players a game. And a lot of this stuff, I believe Bear and I already talked about during our practice game, so a lot of this stuff is already being improved on, and a lot of it is UI stuff and forgetting anyways, so it's not me just trying to be super nitpicky, it's just covering stuff we've already talked about. And that's just unfortunate. Like, what are you gonna do? You just failed the 2-dive block. Yep, indeed. Chain pushes and surfs make you look like a 33% better coach. That's just math. Yep, Ogre should be going for 3-dive blocks, and Ogre should not be going for the hits at the beginning of the turn. It should be the last activation. Okay, this is a foul. I like this foul. Humans are already ahead on players. This foul's good. And I will say, Bear did get the level on the Berserker. That was the goal for the game. Get a level on the Berserker. Because that Berserker's going to get Mighty Blow. That Berserker's going to go and be a menace. And go into either tackle or piling on next level. Very good. First level in the Norse. Very important. Very good. Then this Norse team's going to be playing Lizards next week, so they'll make good use of the Mighty Blow on the Skinks. They'll make good use of their runner against Psoras. Bear did great in the practice game. Demonstrated some pitfalls. And, got absolutely dice. Bear probably hacked the dice logs, Yada yada. Those good old things. It was rigged, I tell you. Okay, and what do we got here? Going into our own offense, we do not have to rush. So, we're going to talk about drive goals here. That's good. So, you get to the start of the half. You need to evaluate what is your goal for the half. What is your goal for the drive? Go over the half. We're 1-0. Our goal is to either get another touchdown, so we're 2-0, really hard to lose, or never have the ball exposed and just keep the 1-0. Either one of those is fine. So how do we accomplish that? Well, if we want to score, we can score at whatever pace we're able to. Get some players in scoring range, take some hits, keep the ball safe. If we ever see an opportunity to score easily and safely, hand off, run it in. Easy. Not that difficult. Yeah, and we'll get to that. Second goal of just not letting the humans get a touchdown and keeping a 1-0, you pick up the ball and hold it back here. And for this, you really don't want your Berserker holding the ball. It's like your only really good blitzer at the moment. Your other Berserker is out, dead. You don't have a runner. I would just carry on alignment, honestly. Like, you could even try to carry on the Ulf. But yeah, this Berserker is your positional. I would carry on, like, this lineman. You can get him to 5 SPP, give him a vanity, another game if you get the chance. And I would pick up the ball. Pick up the ball and stay 6 tiles away from your team. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Stand like right here. At the first sign of pressure, you run up and hide behind your team. But before that, nah, don't move. As soon as humans come behind you, get in a cage, ball up, try to get down the field, try to get a touchdown. But most importantly is do not lose the ball. Because if you don't lose the ball, you don't lose the game. And by lose the game, I mean you don't get a tie. Because this is your game to lose. Being 1-0 into your offense. It's your game to lose. Then this was going to be a loner hit, but you took the blitz instead, which is fine. A-okay. And you don't base the ogre. Good. Get SPP on the line. Very nice. And just nice conservative play. This player can stand right here. And it's just a better screen. Okay, forming a cage already. That's fine. If you're trying to force a score early. You've just gotten rid of the ogre. They're down 3. You're down 3. This is fine. This goes into the game plan of score, get to 2-0, don't lose the game that way. Solid game plan. I like it. We see humans trying to make elf screens, but they're doing them too close. They can have another gap in between these players and have a much better screen, covering more space. They don't even have to do a full elf screen. And now, honestly, they're not pressuring the ball. Put the ball into the cage. Or actually, hit something. Move the cage up here. Let me get rid of that. Here's what this turn looks like. Bring this lineman here. Hit this player. Boom. Good. Nice hits. Now, bring your cage. Up here. Up here. Form a new cage. Put the ball in cage. Stay there. Don't do anything crazy. Force the humans to play aggressive. Because the humans have to do something. We don't. Okay, this hit is fine. But if you're going to take this hit, form a new cage. Put the ball in cage. Boom, done. Okay. Then move them. That's fine. But we gotta make a new cage that's unbased. Why are we forcing through? We don't have to force through. We don't have to base. We're giving up extra hits that we don't need to. And this ball is not safe. Because what happens when you have a base cage? Base cage means the ball is not safe. Because what happens is we bring an assist here. Whoopsie. Oh no, I've activated something on accident. Now I have arrows, but that's fine. So we bring an assist here. We hit this. Boom. And let's say it goes down. And we hit the ball. On 1 dice at least. So this ball is not safe. And furthermore, even without removing this ball has 1 die on it. So we go up here. Go over here. And we hit. Boom. Done. 1 die. And then that sets you up for more 1 dies. If you follow. So, definitely slow down. You don't need to score fast. You don't need to push through at the first opportunity. And a lot of it comes with experience, knowing when is safe to push through and when is not. When is not safe, but you have to anyways. Like, there's a lot of experience that comes into that. So do not get disheartened that this was a tie. It was a decent tie for a college game. Okay. Ball march. GG. This is not an untenable position. We can free this up. There's a lot of chain pushes right now. So, first thing I'm seeing, I think we can attempt to free this up with some chain pushes. But there's a lot of things messed up about this position. Like, humans are basing aggressively. They didn't take a hit on the ball. I don't think that's the right blitz. We already had a hit there. We didn't have to blitz like that. And this should just dodge off, honestly. And if we had saved our blitz, we could have blitzed this off right here. Yeah, I'm not a fan of that. Because this ball still isn't safe. It's especially not safe. And there's a lot of chain pushes available. I'm pretty sure we could chain push the ball off. Maybe not without surfing a blitzer alignment. Okay, and now this hit gets this here, and then we blitz it off. Base cage is not a cage indeed. Okay, decent chain. Ball is up here. And this just gets a little slapstick. This is honestly a case of the ball shouldn't be in this position. But there are games with more experienced coaches where this does happen, but it just happens from a lot more nuance. So we're going to try and talk it through anyways. But the main thing is, and you said you already forgot about jump up, which is fine. We can serve this player. Right? So let's say we bring a player here, jump up hit, and this player is served. Boom. Blitzer gone. Good spot. And then we have this player, we can... So now that this player is gone, we could take a blitz, I'm sure, somehow, and get two players served. Boom, boom, boom. Two players served. Try and get the ball now that you have a player advantage. Just slowly grind it out. But most importantly, just don't let them score. Because you're still in a good spot. Ooh, is this jump up? Yes. Push. Good. Good. 2 assists here. 2 assists there. Can get a hit here. Even if it's red dice, I think. 1 dice, red dice, doesn't matter. Ooh, this gets rid of an assist. Good. No. You could have mitigated an assist. And this would have been a 2-die push off. That was almost really good. Oh, wait, it's already 2-die. What? Oh, no, okay. But no, if you hit with this player, that was a surf. That would have been two players off. And if you left this off here, it would have been a 2-die surf. But that was pretty good. Definitely getting better at chain pushes, very important as Norse. And they're down 4. You're down, I believe, 4. Okay, this is actually a great position for you. Because what should we be doing? Well, right now, we're surfing. We don't actually want to surf the ball. What we want to do is we want to get a double surf. So what that looks like is this player goes right here. And then Blitzer comes up this way. Boom. Chain push. Surf. And you'll have to negate an assist as well. But that's a double surf. You get 2 more player lead, and then you base the ball. So this should be a winning position at the moment, I believe. And this is just one of those, like, 4 players all together. That's a box. Boxes get chain pushes. T-shapes get chain pushes. I should have a tutorial video. Oh no, you took the spot! You took the spot you needed! You could have stayed right here. Okay. Yeah, that was a double chain. You had this game in the bag with that double chain. After a lot of silly stuff happened. Because they would have been down 6 players to your down 4. And low player games benefit Norse. Yeah, and we went over that in practice a little bit too. Because I demonstrated to you how good surfs could be. Because I still think you undervalue them. So, prove me wrong. Start taking more of them surfs. They're so good. They're so strong. What's more effective than Claw Palm? Dirty player. What is more effective than Dirty player? Surfs. But no, like, this round of college coaches are pretty good. I'm excited to see how the season starts shaping up, because I've been seeing a lot of good games going on. Because these are not bad rookie games, by far. Like, I'm able to get into a lot more nuance than I am in some of the past seasons. But also, some of the past seasons have had amazing improvement, regardless of their starting position. Like, I know Glava was one of the coaches. Glava improved so much over college. It was very impressive. Other coaches as well, like Poiku's learned a lot. Good amount of the regulars. Okay, that's good. I'm going to be honest. I'm not sure how this becomes tied. Skink surfs are good. But remember, the AI is not a very good practice partner. The AI is usually pretty bad. Honestly, if you ever need practice and I'm not available, you can just see if somebody's willing to do a certain game in a friendly. A lot of people on the rookie Discord would probably be willing to do that. Or you could see if anybody's willing to do a specific matchup in spins. Yeah, Norse failing pickup could be hell. I like this. Free movement, cover the ball. Good. This is good. Boom. What's really funny is we almost had another surf. I want to talk about this because surfs are fun. So, assuming this worked, right? Let's say this is a push. We can bring this player here, and then blitz with this player and surf a berserker. No, or not a berserker. Surf this lineman. Surfing downed players is much more fun. It makes you look like a good coach. I don't agree with that reroll. Push is more than fine. Like you don't need to be super aggressive here. You just need to get your free moves. Go back, defend the ball. Okay. The right play is to just hit one of these and pick up the ball. Taba understands completely. You got it. And after this, I will fix my pen tool. Okay, we got this player marked. That player marked. I would have rather blitzed one of these players. And this looks just like it got really unlucky. GFI, GFI, 2-die, blitz, or... yeah. This is unlucky. But if one of these players was down, it could have been a different result entirely. Yep, that's lucky. It didn't take the correct dodge either. So, 4+4+ rather than 4+3+. No reroll. That's really unfortunate. But that wasn't a bad game overall. Pretty decent college game. And Bear and I went over some of that practice. Okay, who else was on the list? Let me consult the grand document. And let me reload my pen tool. We have Wrecking Bull versus Chaos Horned. Bring my pen tool back up. Okay. Wrecking Bull versus Chaos Horned. Let's go. Okay, we got nice pink going on. I love it. And let's turn on all skills. Only one bull. Looks like there's an MNG, a perm, or just a nifty starting lineup. And Chaos are starting out with some hits. My main thing here, don't complicate the line of scrimmage too much. Just put 3 strength 4s right here, and then 1 off to the side to catch a diagonal. Or you can do 3 on the same, and then hit to the left or hit to the right. High kick is good. Chaos are going to have a rough time just because they're Chaos without much skills. Using the block goad as a blitzer, good. Covering the ball, I like it. I like it. No need to get aggressive. Quite yet. Good. And I'm wanting to see some hits. Yep. This hit would have been better to take first. Does not end up mattering, doesn't look like. But if you want to take hits in a way that make more hits on pushes. Good. And the Chaos really wants to hit the Hobgoblins with 87 if they can get around to it. Not huge on walking the ball forwards. This is just another case of trying to go too far too fast. Chorvs are making a screen back here, that's fine. This makes it really hard to immediately make a cage up here. Don't need to base this warrior. could stand right here and accomplish the same effect. Chorf's actually giving up a lot of ground by screening too heavily so early. Oh, okay. You're setting up a blitz. That's fine. That is fine. I don't need to base here. That's just a free hit. And the Chaos could walk through, but they should honestly just go back and around. Don't need to be too aggressive. Making space here is fine. And these warriors are doing a good job just bullying the Chorfs. Okay, that's good. Ball comes back. Nice and safe. Good. Then, what I would be considering doing... That's okay. Oh, you're hitting the bull. Okay. Bonk. Got yourself base, though. Takes a 1 die. It's okay. Creates a 2 die. That's good. Yeah, this wasn't bad. This wasn't bad. And this bull is now pretty trapped. But we're able to get served. Because this chain pushes the warrior. Warrior goes here. No. Okay. Warrior should have come here, and the blitz should have been on the warrior to push him out. Chorfs would have been pretty ahead that way. Oh, no, he's still going out. Oh, yeah, I like this. Because now you blitz and the warrior goes out. Good, good. And you can stay or you can follow. It doesn't matter too much, I don't think. Follow keeps it safer, but it does result in a little bit of pressure. Yeah, that was a good serve. Good serve. Push to the right, good. We have a whole lot of space. That's amazing for the Chaos. Giving up hits gets you removals on yourself. So once again, we're seeing it with AV9s. Giving up hits even on AV9 gets casualties, gets KOs. Makes it rough. So 4 blockers at the moment. 3 warriors. 1 bull. This is a little aggressive, but it's actually mostly fine. I don't think you actually have to worry too much about being overly aggressive. All the Chorfs are on this side. Like, 4 blockers, they're all slow. You don't need to base here. I think that's objectively just like wrong. I would take the dodge. That's fine. And eating the dodge, also fine. So now we're going to see 6 players try to make it back into the play. Okay, giving up more hits. That's just going to end badly for the Chaos Dwarves. That should be on one of the Beastmen? No, it's on a warrior. Okay, that's decent then. As long as you're taking the hit. Base's ball. Decent screen. I don't like this foul. I don't think it's advantageous to take this foul because of that. The magic number for a foul is a 7+. That's the minimum you should be looking for a foul in order to have better odds of removing the opponent than yourself. I don't like standing this player up. You're just going to get surfed. Even if it's red dice. It's not difficult to surf on. That's a 3+ to not turn over. Slightly less than that to get the surf. That's good. Chaos do a nice slow grind up. The dwarves were really out of position. You really need to try to keep your blockers close to the middle so they can respond properly. Like, if you look at this blocker over here, he's all the way on the sideline. He's 2 turns away from getting into the action. 6 makes you warm and fuzzy. Yeah, exactly. It's unfortunate you reroll that, though, because hits are good. This is a risky dodge. I don't like that as your first action. I also would much rather just see the blockers that are close to the play take the hits with block. But the chain is nice. And there is a wizard for the Chaos Dwarves. And you took the red die block. Very good for the Chaos Dwarves. That could have been Surf. Would have been fantastic. I like the splits. Not sure about the space, though. Come around to the side. Okay, and then you'll come around up here as well. Yeah, you just step right there. Good, good, good. And even with a wizard, this is going to be a pretty tough game for the dwarves at this point. You follow that. Yep. That dwarf has to dodge now. Or get surfed. This player's going to get surfed, though. So there is a thing right here. You can consider using the wizard here. I don't know if it's very good. I think the dwarves are a little too slow to respond to the wizard usage. I almost feel like a bribe would have been a better inducement, to be honest. Unlucky. This is why you take your hits with your block players first. So you don't 1 in 9. Let alone 1 in 81. 1 in 81 is a little more unfortunate than the 1 in 9. Both players taking good 2-die blocks, though. So I'm happy to see that. Good, good. Don't follow, nice. Okay. Good, and you follow this. Keep the screen up. You don't have to move the ball. If you're gonna move the ball, you move it to the right one. Okay, and you're coming to... Ooh, yes. I like this. Very good surfs this game from the Chaos. Good attempt from the dwarves as well on the red dice. Good. Chaos have such a numbers advantage, they're allowed to base now. But I think they were basing a little too early. I don't think they were forced to score. I don't think they should have. I think they should have kept taking hits. Maybe take a foul on the bull. I think the Chaos should have waited at least one more turn. Scoring on 7 against the Wizard's good. Scoring on 8 against the Wizard when you're Agi 3 and got a bunch of dice to pick up the ball if you get bolted. Eh. But scoring on 6 is kind of meh. There is only one bull, though. It's not the end of the world. They are down 3 players. Didn't get the KO back. You do get the 4th Chaos Warrior back. Chaos are in a dominant position this game. So what we need to see is we need the... Oh. Ride helps the Chaos even more. So the Chaos Dwarves need to push to get the bull through. Bull picks up... We need a scoring threat this turn. That's really unfortunate. This would have been fine with 3 turns, the bull picking up and then pushing through. But now, like, I don't know if the Chaos can get in range. They just gotta run Hobgoblins through. Get onto this line. Yeah, you had to run the Hobgoblin through. Because now you can't score. Yep, okay. Can't score. Double check your turns. Make sure you have a scoring threat at the end of turn 7. Before anything else. Before securing the ball. Like, well, maybe not before securing the ball. But before picking up the ball, especially, you need a scoring threat. So we're just going to skip to the beginning of the next half. And what's the player count? 11 versus 8, I believe, still. Chevrons is okay. It prevents an early score by the Chaos Dwarves. Stops them from winning the game. They can still tie with a touchdown, though. Following, not following, it's pretty much the same there. And then it's hard to get a decent blitz. I wouldn't mind just ignoring it. Making your bull the ball carrier is kind of hard. I don't approve of it when you only have 1 bull. I'd rather just pick up on a Hobgoblin, use the bull as a blitzer, hit these strength 4 bullies, try and create an opening that way. I will be right back. I need to check on my food one more time. Alright, and I am back. Smooth food smells wonderful. Cannot speak. Oopsie. Don't need that. Okay. Chaos are pushing towards the ball. Bull now has it in hand. Trying to base the ball. Don't hate that. Agility 2 is, can't quite just dodge off of it. Yeah, that's fair. That's fair. I mainly just don't like it when there's only 1 bull. I don't mind the bull carrier on 2 bulls, but I'm also not a Chorf coach, so definitely take me with a grain of salt. Michaels probably has a more nuanced opinion than I do. Yeah, especially when you're down 3 pieces is kind of my thing. And you have to score. The bull, actually, strike that. The bull is decent if your goal is to tie the game. I think the Hobgoblin is better if you're trying to score quickly for a chance to win. That's my take on it. Okay, decent blocks. Blitzing with the bull carrier is spooky, though. And the ball is not currently safe. You have to run back. Good. And this is a hard position. Okay, gets the 1 and 9. Both teams, one reroll. This seems hard but doable for the Chaos Dwarves. Okay, good blitz. Ball down. You're basically forced to pick up on a Hobgoblin at this point if you somehow manage to get the ball back. Freeing up the warrior, good. And then just outrunning the dwarfs. Not bad, not bad. Okay. Blitz does not free up the ball. And all this spacing is really gonna give the Chaos a lot of hits. But you're kind of forced to base, I think. So I don't think that's like a poor decisioning now. I think it's a heavy basing in the first half caused you to be down players. Make it really hard to come back. Yep. Hobgoblins are 87. Easy to remove. Relatively. Okay. Follow, don't follow, doesn't matter. Strength 4 coming in to hit the bull. Just a push is fine. Keep it marked. Pick up the ball with a reroll. There's a 1-die blitz on it, but harder to prevent much more. Unless you took this dodge, which that gets a 2-die hit from the bull available. Fireball. Good fireball. Good removal. I think that was pretty good. I think that was the time to rip the fireball. I don't think you should try to pick up with the bull anymore. I think it's how you lose this game. Okay, went for it anyways, got out on the 4+. Good. Decent. An elaborate ruse. You're right, I'll do better in the future. But this looks like it could have been a tie. It was pretty close to it. 1 die, yep, gets it. The Chorsters got bullied by removals a good bit. Okay, you don't dodge here. You don't go for the pickup. Should have picked it up on a Hobgoblin already. I think that would have given better positioning for the bull. But I'm biased to my first opinion. A loner reroll for a dodge. Yeah, and I'm not sure how you get a scoring threat as the choice this game. I don't think you can. The Chaos are going to do everything in their power to prevent it. I think it's almost physically impossible to get a scoring threat unless the bull goes 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Bull has to go max distance to become a scoring threat. Can't even pick up the ball. So if I'm the Chaos, I'm hitting this bull. This is also fine. I would have hit the bull, though. That's the literal only scoring threat. You hit the bull. Even a push, completely out of range of scoring. And yeah, that's game. That lost the game right there. That wasn't the exact point the game was lost. It was lost probably before that. A little bit in the Chorf's hands, a little bit out of it. A little bit of dice, because you know it's Blood Bowl. It's a dice game. Mainly just base a little less. I think you're basing really aggressively with your blockers, getting them removed. Just because they're taking so many hits that they don't have to. But we're going to call that one there. I don't think there's much more to it of use. And we will go on to our last game, which is... It's not that one, it's not that one, it's not that one. Should be the Silver Cup squad versus moderate-sized Marauders. Alright, let's see. We got some Dwarves versus some Necro. And just real quick, we only have one Flesh Golem. We have both Whites. We have a Ghoul and we have a Werewolf for the Necro. Meanwhile, the Dwarves have both their Blitzers, one Troll Slayer, and both Runners. So, as the Necro, there's a couple things you want to focus on. You want to be using your Claw player whenever you can, because Claw against AV9 is better than Mighty Blow against AV9. AV8, it's about even. AV7, Mighty Blow would be better. But definitely use your Claw piece against these AV9 bruisers. Second thing, if you can bait them towards the sideline a little bit, your Frenzy has much more movement. You should be able to get surfs easier than the Dwarves. And finally, you want to be going after these two AV8 pieces and the Troll Slayer, which is also AV8. Yeah, that's about it. And I would be picking up on the Ghoul, at least to start, so you can use your Wolf to try and get some removals. Oh, 2 Troll Slayers. I am blind. Yeah, 8. There's 4 AV8 players. Go after those. Thank you, Michaels. Our resident Necro coach has suggested getting more positionals. Yeah, I think those. I think the other positionals got some MNGs or perms. I'm not quite sure, but definitely more positionals is nice. And especially, I'm pretty sure with one wolf, you don't want to be carrying on the wolf. Hey, Eddie, how's it going? Yeah, indeed. Because, like, the wolves, especially, are your biggest asset. There's bribes. Okay, we're fouling. Both teams should be fouling. Okay, so we're not using the wolf for blitzes. At the very least, we need to be hitting AV8 pieces with the whites. I would have fouled this piece. Like, hit this with the white, hit it here. Gang foul. Just immediately. You have a bribe. Go for that removal game. Yeah, these whites should have been taking hits. You have 2 block pieces, you need to use them. Okay. Fouling Troll Slayer. Good call. Why are we hitting without block? This is a big mistake. Yeah, I like that. I like that. Because that'd be a what? A 6+? 5+? But yeah, your whites should be blitzing if you're not using the wolf. Your whites have block. No one else on the team does. I'm gonna go to added skills. I don't think there are any added skills. Necro has kind of too many. Oh, that would be a 7+? Because 2 assists and a foul. Wouldn't that be a 6+ with the 2 assists? Am I dumb? I might be doing bad math. Oh yeah. Okay. You're right. I usually just have the game tell me when what the foul number is. But I tend to, if I'm going to take a foul, I'm taking it regardless. So I'm just going to make it as good as I can. I feel like this could have been a surf. And should have been a surf. If you hit him to here and set up a blitz. Yeah, surf would have been nice. Mainly, I'm just seeing the Necro are not hitting with the right players. They're hitting with the zombies and the flesh golem first before hitting with white. Yeah, that's fair. Because it's kind of like you want... your wolves are an amazing ball carrier, but you want to be using them for claw. And your whites are your best hitters, but they get tied up pretty easily. And then ghouls die. And it's also good to point out, this only has one flesh golem on the team right now, which is really rough, because usually the flesh golems support each other. But in this match, you only have the one strength forward to support himself. You start with one golem? That's fair. 2 ghoul, 2 wolf, 2 reroll. Yeah, I've seen like 18 different Necros starting lineups, so that doesn't surprise me too much. Yeah, that's fair. That's fair. Dwarves should be looking for fouls as well. Both teams should be finding decent fouls. The other wolf, I do not know. It's just not here. It's either dead or MNG or some perm. Do not know. Or maybe never bought. Yeah, I like using the wolves as blitzers. After you get the sure hands, are you trying to hand off to wolves? Because I'm assuming the early level on a wolf, if you get block or mighty blow, very impactful. Because you always take mighty blow on the double. Okay, decent hits. Dauntless. Stand firm is fine. I not sure about that reroll. Other things to do in the turn. Ball is based. Yep, outrunning is how Necro does. Because the 2 movement 8, 2 movement 7 is really fast. Against everything except, like, half of the elf teams. Like, the wood elves and the high elf can probably outrun you, but early pro elves? Nah. Early dark elves? Nah. Especially the Dark Elves. Dark Elves are so slow. I think humans are almost faster than Dark Elves, to be honest. Especially if they do like a multiple catcher build. Like I've seen a 4 catcher build before, and they zip. Dwarves just taking decent hits. I would look for a foul in a positional. Probably use a runner for the foul. Keeping players drop back to catch anyone that breaks through. I don't hate that. Keep everything based. Okay. I don't like that reroll. I have not liked the rerolls I've seen from the dwarves so far. And I also think there could have been a 2-die hit on the ball rather than what we've done. So plug in that hole. Okay. Honestly, I'm looking at, like, get a push here and go for it at this point. Because how many players are we down? Down 2. And all these ones are marked and caught up. Running back is also an option. Fails the dodge. Unfortunate. This ghoul should be fouled. That should be the goal of this turn. Foul this ghoul. And secure the ball. And that's what happens when you aggressively reroll way too early. Unlucky 1 in 36. Yeah, I've not seen a foul yet with 2 bribes in play. That makes me sad. I like fouls. Fouls are your friend. Fouls are super reliable. Anybody that told you to not do fouls when you have a bribe, they're being silly. Because, like, I'll be honest, like, I will foul turn 8 on a valuable player, even if I have to score, as long as I have a bribe. Because it's like a 95% chance you don't get sent off. Good hit. Because there's just like the base chance you don't get sent off, and then with the bribe, it's a 1 in 6 to get sent off. Which I will take a good, valuable hit like that. Well, yeah, and that happens, but that's the outlier. That's not the norm. It is unfortunate, though. Double bribe failure. I bet that felt like a really good 200k inducement. If nothing else, the dwarves should save their bribe for the next half at this point. But on the dwarves' drive, they should be fouling aggressively. Because, like, you don't really want to foul a zombie. It's not easy to get good fouls on the positionals at this point. You've already have a massive player advantage. Foul at the start of the next half. Okay. More removals. Generating blocks generates removals. We've seen it like 3 or 4 times today. Just base with a purpose. Basing for no reason just loses you players. And losing players is fine as long as the basing accomplished something. But if you're just marking trying to generate more hits, that's just how you lose games. Unless you massively outstrength your opponent. But even then, like, elves can be sneaky in how they generate blocks. And I would just not be surfable, because this is just a dodge. Yep, this is correct. 1 die, yep. Just be off the sideline, because if you're going to get powed, you're going to get powed. But pushes mean you're still able to score. Yep. All the experienced coaches saw it. And what actually should happen is this white should be surfed now. Bring you a long beard. Get you a surf. Okay, good. That looked like a misclick. Three die? Why go for the 3 die like that rather than taking a surf? That almost looked like you could have gone 3 die for a surf. Yep. Decent idea, developing a 3 die. Would have rather seen the surf. Surfs are strong. Surfs are strong. Lessons of the day. Surfs are good. Basing only when you need to. Base with purpose. And more importantly, if you're gonna base, you usually want to overbase. Because I like to look at it. There was a great analogy I read on one of the Blood Bowl articles. It's when you're going to war, you send all your troops. If half-assed basing gets more players hurt. Just in general. Just in general. The Necro at the start, but... And the Dwarves are in a pretty dominant position. They have a higher strength advantage. But I've said it to Chorfs earlier. I've said it to Norse. I've said it to humans. Just a generalized thing. Be careful when you base, because that's how you get removals. Yep. Putting players in the way is often just as good as basing. But there are some moments when you have to base. Like, if you're... Like, turn 7. Full base to prevent a touchdown. Force them to roll more dice to get their players very good. Turn 1 when you're playing against another Bashy team. There's no reason to base turn 1, full base turn 1 for most of the time. Dwarves just gonna make full cage and walk down the field. It's kind of what dwarves do. I would have liked to see a player come here first. Like, just bring this runner up. And something important to know about dwarves. You don't want to walk backwards too much. Because dwarves are slow and they need every square they can get. They need to, like, keep pushing forwards. Keep pushing forwards. Like here, I would claim this space with this Longbeard as well. Yep. Yeah, you don't need the back corners here. Like, these back corners can come over to the sides if you still want the protection. What the full cage does is it eats up all your players. A full cage is what you do when you're forced to full cage. If you're ever allowed to have the ball free, safe from everything without any defenders, that's great. But realistically, you're always going to need like a screen. But full cages eat up all your fighters. And now this is a decent full cage. 2 die into 1 die. A-okay. Okay. And I would like to see this trolls. Honestly, we could have served the white here. Get a push from here. Try to get a set up a 2-die. Surfing is strong, especially with Frenzy to set it up. And we need to take our free moves first. We need to move our white. We need to move our golem before taking blocks. And we need to hit the AV8 pieces. And we need to hit with the white. There's no advantage of hitting with the golem here. Like, we could have hit with the white and still came here. Okay, this cage is currently based. This ball should not be safe. This zombie should be able to break this open and we get a hit with the white. Okay, and that makes the cage safe again. Because a based cage is not really a cage. It's too easy to bust open. And a lucky KO, but that's what happens when you base your players, they get removed. If you're gonna go to war, if you're gonna base everything, you should expect casualties. And you're gonna receive casualties before the opponent does. So you really have to be out strengthening them in order for full base to work. Like, reliably. And especially before kill skills, it's just... somebody's gonna roll better dice than the other. Okay, ball is based. Should be pretty simple to free up. Because this is gonna get hit. Blizzard's gonna come and knock you off. Maybe even Troll Slayer. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Yeah, Troll Slayer can come take this hit. It's fine. Didn't even need to blitz it. Normally the point of basing is less about hitting things, and it's more about preventing scoring by handoffs and preventing easy dodges. Yep. Sometimes you put a piece of fodder on a very dangerous piece, like you put a rookie lineman on a claw palm piece. Or you tie up a sacker so that your ball carrier doesn't get blitzed without dodges. That's another one. They're just the most important thing isn't even that it's not binary base or don't base. It's you need to have a reason for your basing. And I recommend, like, when you go to make a play, think hard and fast about why you're doing what you're doing. Because even if your reason is not a good one, or if it's not... Like, okay. Let me pause and slow down so I can think this through. When you think of why you're doing a play, there's a couple possible scenarios. Maybe you have a good reason. And you can tell people, this is why I did this. And then they can say, oh, with that reason, your play was good. Or they can say, if that was your goal, here's a way you could have done it better. Another thing that could happen, your goal may not have been a good goal. And people can tell you, your goal should have been different on this turn, or on this drive, or in this game. And then they can help you adjust what you're trying to do. And just, it's the back and forth between what you're trying to do and getting some insight on what you should have been doing. You can start getting better reasons for why you're doing something, and better hows of doing your why. And I think that's kind of how I conceptualize it. Oh, yeah. If it takes 3 of their activations, yeah, that's great. And hello, Mighty Crab. How's it going, my friend? And here, this should just be a dwarf score. Not enough necro players to outstrength them. Just get some bashes. And just don't open up your ball to getting hit. You'll be fine. Yeah, you just stall and win the game. I don't think basing with a zombie does much. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. You can hit the ball on red dice. Not very good. No, you actually... Yeah, it's just always red dice because of this player. It's not easy to mark. And the dwarves just get out of this for free. They have more players. They don't care. They have 3 more players. Full basing doesn't work. If they had 1 more player, you're almost even. Because being on offense takes up players to be defenders. Yeah, exactly. The fleshy's job is to stand there. Like you... And also just generally, you need to be blitzing with the white from the start of the game for the block rather than the fleshy. Or, when you have the rerolls available, hit with the Claw Wolf against AV9. Even against AV8 is pretty good. But AV7, the white is better. Using Frenzy to bring players into contact with other players so you can develop more hit dice. It's also good. Not sure if that was a necessary 1 die. But it's not really end of the world either. No need to move forward yet. I'm not a big fan of that. But it's actually, like, pretty safe, isn't it? Okay, and Necro's hitting enter. So that's the end of that one. Yep. Necro could have still found a way to force the score, maybe go for 1 turn. Get the wolf back. Movement 8 1 turns are pretty reliable. You might have even been able to force a 2 turn, and movement 8 2 turns are pretty reliable. The game was definitely not over yet. It's a little bit of mental thing you gotta work on there. Apart from that, that's all the games I had to look at. Am I feeling a CCL match? I'm not up for a CCL match. I am pretty tired. So I'm gonna hop off. I'm gonna eat some dinner. And all that good stuff. I'm gonna see if there's anybody to send us all over to. Anybody in the streaming? No, okay, let's check on Twitch. Just loading slowly. Okay, my internet's being nice and slow, so we're just gonna call it there since I cannot easily see. But thank you all for tuning in, and y'all have a good one.